To make these, you're going to need Flower Market, the stamp collection, a corner rounder, and a hole punch, some ink, a push pad to punch holes, wax linen thread, an upholstery needle, something to punch your holes with, scissors and string. You're also going to need the Flower Market Ephemera Assortment, the Flower Market journaling card. I'm going to be using graphic 45s, policy and decorative dies. I'll be using the label and the photo corner. Going to need graphic 45 calendar stamps, the 12 by 12 patterns and solids, the 12 by 12 Flower Market collection. So to start with, you're going to take the Flower Market sheet you're going to be using. This one's August. You're going to cut this down to 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. You're going to cut those two pieces out. You're going to cut the calendar. Cut all of these out. This one I cut 1 1/2 inch wide. You're going to need your scoreboard and your paper trimmer. So to start with, you're going to take 4 sheets of cardstock. You're going to cut them down to 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. You're going to save your scraps. 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. So now you're going to take each page. You're going to round the corners. And on this one, I'm going to use peachy pink. So you're going to ink all 4 pages, back and front. Then you're going to fold all 4 of these in half. I have all 4 of mine done. You're going to set those aside. Then you're going to grab whatever patterns and solids you've chosen. Now you want to make sure that your paper is up, your pattern if it has one. You're going to score 8 3/4. 8 1/4. 3 3/4, 3 1/4. Then you're going to turn your page. You're going to score at 9, 8 1/2, 2 1/2, and 2. So your paper should have 8 score lines on it. You're going to grab your scissors and your cut on the second score line here all the way up. You're going to do this to all 4 corners. one. Okay, so now your paper should look like this. You're going to fold your first score line in, then your second. So that leaves you a 1/2 inch on both sides. And on the top and bottom one. And you're going to grab your corner punch, and on the lid, which is the shorter one, you want to round the corners. Okay, so then you're going to cut a hole guide, and it's 5 3/4 long by 1 inch wide, and I scored it in half. And I poked holes at 1/2 inch, 1 5/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, and 5 1/2. Then you want to cut, so 5 3/4 by 1/4, and you want to mark the same holes as your guide. Make sure you put an arrow on up or down. So see, I just put a little mark where each of my holes go. So then I bend out my little 1/2 inch hinge, and I line this up along the score line, keeping my arrow up towards the lid. Then I mark where each of the holes are. And I do this on both sides. Okay, so I've set that aside for my next one. Then I grab my 4 pages, my push pad, and my hole poker. You're going to place these all inside of each other. I'll line them up. Put your hole guide in. You want to use some clips to secure it. Poke your holes. Remember to keep these papers up or mark them if you need to. Grab this, poke your other holes. Take a piece of wax linen that's about 3 lengths as where you poked your holes, and your upholstery needle. Take 2 of your pages, in through the middle, then go out and up from the middle. Back out through the bottom hole. Pulling your string tight. Then you want to go back in the hole right up from the one you just went out. Being careful not to pierce your string. you want to skip the middle and go out the one right above it. Then back in the top one. Then back out the one right below it. Then when you bring it back through the middle, you want to be on the opposite side of the string in the middle of what your other tail's on. You want to pull them tight. And I usually tie them in a knot. Trim your string. And you got your first photo pages in. Okay, you're going to go in through the middle hole. Tie them in a knot. You want to turn your book over into the lid. You want to eyeball where the center is. And you want to go about an inch up. And then on this flap on this side, you want to poke a hole about in the middle of it, kind of down from the other hole you poked. You want to grab your August stamp. So I put my stamp on my block. And I grab 2 pieces of scrap. That's just to protect my paper that I don't want ink on. Alright, we got our August marked. Then you're going to take your large picture that you cut out. I'm using peachy pink. And then you want to ink your large photo. Grab your glue. Center it on the front of your folio. Okay, then you're going to grab your 2 circles you cut out from the paper. You're going to need 2 brads. And then I used my 1/2 inch circle punch and cut 2 more circles. You're going to poke a hole in the center of these. So you're going to stick your brad through, then stick it through your 1/2 inch circle. Put one through here. I like to add some double-sided tape just to secure it. You're going to take your other one, take your string, I'm tying mine in a knot, and I stick my other one on. top one. From the ephemera pack, I'm going to add this little ephemera piece up at the top, covering my legs of my brad. Then I'm going to grab my calendar that I cut out, and I trimmed it down to fit this bottom panel. I'm going to ink around the edge using the same peachy pink. Overlaps just slightly. Then I'm going to fold it up, and I'm going to add it on that side. Centering it. So now I have the bottom flap done. Then on this side, I'm going to take the little rectangle tag we cut out, and I'm going to keep it about 1/8 inch away from the hinge. I'm just going to mark where I need to cut it. Going to ink along the top. So then I'm just going to put glue here and along the bottom. So then I'm going to take this quote that we cut out, and I'm going to ink around it using the peachy pink. I'm just going to put a little glue around the brad here. And then I'm just going to glue on the other side around the edge and the bottom. I'm going to center it where I want it over the brad. Then I'm going to take that long strip we cut from the paper, and I'm going to score the bottom in about 1/2 inch. I'm going to mark where my other score line needs to be. Score where I marked. I do miter my corners up to the score line. Then I'm going to apply glue on both hinges. I'm going to put a little glue on the back edge. Keeping it flush with the edges. Creating a pocket. So now I want to cut my string. So that's going to fold in. That one's there. Now I'm going to take some of my scraps from cutting the corners off, and I'm going to cut 1 label plate and 4 photo corners, 1 ATC tag for each month. I also had already stamped and I heat embossed August on this one and already put 1 label plate over it. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to take some ink. I'm going to ink it. Then I'm going to glue it on top of the other one. So apply glue. I'm going to ink the outer edges of these. I'm going to glue these in all 4 corners. Being careful not to cover the score lines. I'm going to cut about an 1/8 inch off of each end. So I'm going to take the butterfly we cut out. Some glue on just the middle. I'm going to put that stamp in my pocket. That stamp up there. I'll put that tag we cut there. Then I'm going to grab a piece of my scrap, and I'm going to cut a large tag about 3 inches wide by 5.5. I'm going to round the corners. And slide that in there. So then I'm going to put just a light little mark over here. I'm going to grab the tag I cut from the paper. I want ink around it. Keeping, about 1/8 inch away from the mark I made on the thing. I want to glue. I'm leaving this side with no glue because it's going to hang over. Just eyeballing about where I want it. erase my mark. I'm going to grab my nameplate. I'm going to take this 3" by 5.5 piece of cardstock we cut. Alright, now I'm going to add a couple flat back pearls. I decided to finish off my closure with a little key. Room for journaling. Our little tags we made. Room for journaling there. It'll hold 17 photos. You could leave this journaling card or remove it and put a photo under it. We have January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Each one is pretty much the same, has a key on the closure. January. Some of the tags are a little different on each one. They all have a removable journaling card. February. And I also made this little easel card with a drawer. It's a little calendar. It's for 2024. So you can just flip your calendar page over. And then the little truck has removable decorations. We have a little wine bottle set. A little basket. Some little pyramids with seashells in them. Some little Christmas trees. Little cupcakes for birthday days. Little succulent garden. And two little snakes. And everything fits back in the drawer. So after making both of these with one paper collection, I still have quite a bit of leftovers. So you'll have to stop back by and see what else I make.